All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Limitless Artists. This is our second episode where I interview young up-and-coming artists that are around, our age, Gen Z so far. But I'm willing to take submissions from anybody. Remember that. All right, so we take young artists and we promote the ever-loving crap out of them. We review their work. We sit down. We ask them some questions. We hang out with them, and we get to know them better. So, welcome our guest, Sebastian. Or how do you want to introduce yourself?
Wait, what's going on?
I love it. It's already begun. We're the immersion.
Get off! Wait, who's supposed to be going on? I don't know. Ah!
All of you. One of you. I'm cool with any of you.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Devin, I don't think you had a chance to meet him yet, so check out my dog, Hector.
Hector. All right. Nice to meet you, Hector.
I am Seb, also known as Vexing Flame, and pretty much the creator of Sealface Productions, a channel that is not fully up yet, but is in the process of becoming up. And over here is my good friend, Devin. Devin, how you been, man?
Good. How about yourself, man?
I am all right. I'm just tired. My sleep schedule is pretty bad.
That's fair. Most people's sleep schedules are way out of whack. If I didn't have a job, I'd be in the same boat you are. All right.
Yeah. I think I just woke up a few moments ago. I'm not entirely
That is
sure.
completely understandable. I don't blame you for that.
Hold on one second.
Sure. No worries.
All right, sorry, my dog had a water bottle, so.
Oh yeah. No worries. I completely understand that.
Yeah. So, why don't you tell me what we're doing here?
All right. So what we're doing here, we're gonna ask you some questions. So our beginning is always the general question phase. You have your more traditional type of questions that we will ask our artists, and then we'll go into the lightning round, of course. And the lightning round, I'm trying to make it integral to the series. It's fun, just something great to do.
Yeah.
And then I will give you at the end your showcase time.
Yeah.
Anything that you have for the people at home.
So
Go.
for people who don't know, before the interview, I asked Devin if we could do some scenarios real quick where we're just different characters, so that way I could showcase my voices, because that's what I love doing. I love doing voices.
Yeah, it's awesome to have another voice actor. That's two in a row. Two in a row now. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Mastermind of that big project that we're super excited to work on.
Yes, I'll talk more about it. I don't know if I want to get too much into detail because, knock on wood.
That's fine. Yeah, we kept it as much under wraps as we could.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about like the cast and stuff, but I probably won't go too into it.
That is fine.
Yeah.
Just enough to tease people. Let's do this. All right, beginning the general question phase. So, tell me everything you've been doing so far and how do you do it? So, in essence, explain your work and how you make it yours.
Well, the process, how we came up with this current project, I still don't fully understand. We were playing the game once, and me and him were just making jokes, and we were like, yo, what if we made like, I believe the joke came from one of the characters. I started doing a Marge voice for no reason, like, I gotta steal the hearts. And so I was like, oh, I'll just make a quick abridgment of this for your birthday. And then it ultimately ended up into an animation thing that I'm currently working on. I'm like, how did it get like this?
Right.
It was definitely, it's something that I've been looking forward to working on ever since me and my brother came up with the idea. And he's been looking forward to working on it too. So as of right now, mainly what I'm doing is just writing the scripts. Yeah. I'm working on getting a computer for the animation part, but it's coming,
Yeah, it's a slow process. So what is your favorite medium to work on? You work on a lot of type of stuff. You write, you animate, you do voice acting, you can draw as well, I've heard.
I cannot. You can ask
No?
my friend Kat. I do not draw. Freaking,
I am one that needs to die. All right.
I sketched this. I sketched these drawings for this other project that I want to make, where it's like the hero looks like a really big villain, and the villain is like this cute little like animal. And I was like, hey Kat, you're an actual artist. Can I send you my drawings and you judge them? And she was like, sure. And then I sent them to her and she's like, I see. Can I revise them? I'm like, please do. I cannot draw and I will full on say.
Right.
In terms of media, I haven't really got that much work yet. I was one of the news anchors on our school's INN, where I would review movies. So as of right now, I'm mainly just working on voices for the project and other stuff. So I have like a ton in my repertoire.
All right. So here we go. This is where we get to tease a little bit. What are we working on, sir?
All right. How many of you guys are familiar with a franchise called Persona? We over here at Sealface Productions have been working on an animated parody of Persona 5 Royal called Persona 5 Monarchical.
Love it. I love it. I'm loving it.
It is a full animated project based on Persona 5 Royal, both making fun of it and showing our appreciation for such a fantastic game.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That is amazing. I'm in love with this project. Kelly's in love with the project.
It was killing me whenever I was watching your guys' interview because you guys were going like, because you fool and were like, this project, and you're just like, oh yes, I'm not allowed to say what it is, and I'm like, you guys can say it. I'm not trying to keep it under wraps.
I'm not legally allowed to talk about this part.
You guys literally said that. I'm like, I'm not gonna sue.
That man will sue me down to my last bag of ramen. Kelly, don't say anything. He knows where I live. It's great. No, it's great. We love to tease about it and you know, keep it under wraps as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we want to build up this great suspense for this big project that's taken you a long time to put together. It's kind of like our creation.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of people are excited to work on it, and like that just makes me more nervous because I'm like, oh my god, what if it sounds good? Everyone is hoping it will be.
Right, like what if it goes sideways?
Yeah. But honestly, I have a lot of faith in it. I had William, my co-creator, and you know him.
Of course.
I was, unfortunately, every time I talk about William, I almost start to do an impersonation of him, and I don't think that would be that well.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. He's our co-creator. And I had him over and I had him read a few lines of his character, and he was dying of laughter. So that is definitely a good sign. And then, of course, we have, if you don't mind me talking, we have a lot more people in the cast. Like, they're nobody that anyone would know out there, obviously. Yeah. Outside of like William, who's our co-creator, who I always joke around being like the producer that we shoved into the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because he does not act. He does not like acting. And whenever I told him, like, you know, I'm going to be the voice director, he was like, oh, that's too much work. And I was like, you know, that's how most voice roles go, right? And he goes, really? I go, yeah. The guy who voiced Mezzo Shoji is usually the voice director for the English version of My Hero Academia. So,
right.
So it was definitely, so he's looking forward to it. And then I have people like Maddie, who you might remember from Chicago.
Yeah.
She's one of my good friends, and she voices one of the other people, one of the other main characters. And then we have my brother, who despite not really wanting to go into the acting profession, he knows how to do a bunch of voices. So he's voicing like half the extra characters inside the project, and I'm voicing the other half.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, like outside of the ones that we have casts for, and then of course there's Kelly, who I have not, even on my Instagram page, divulged who she plays yet. It's definitely like a lot of fun working.
Next one. So what are your future plans? You know, it can be in regards to Monarchical or after the Persona project. What are your future plans?
Well, after Monarchical, it's Monarchical is our main future plan right now because it's definitely like our biggest one. But outside of that, we do have plans. I don't remember. Did you see? Okay, so I was in this like play I was in this play about this game show, but I was at the very end as a character named Otto, like blindfolded serial killer, who was only seen at the end as the final antagonist. So I'm working outside of Monarchical on this 3-part horror movie uh, about Otto, and it's pretty cool.
I like that. So you're doing kind of a character bio synopsis.
Pretty much, it's not really about him. It's just like using him as the villain, you know?
Right. So yeah, kind of like an expansion. I
Yeah,
like it. Using the character more because that was an interesting character.
yeah.
I got a chance to
He was only
hear
seen
about.
for like 5 seconds. Sorry for cutting you off, by the way. He was
No
seen for like
worries.
5 minutes, but like that was the part that like almost everybody was talking about after it, and I was like, you know what? I can have a little bit more fun with this, which was funny too because I wasn't, even though I was the only one who was auditioning for him, they weren't gonna give me the role of Otto because that actually ties into some things I wanted to mention about like stuff that actually inspired me to do this, into doing these projects in theater, which definitely like I know I'm talented, which that's a very egocentric thing to say, but like I do think I'm very talented. Uh, but the guys in theater did not think so. They would always like cast me as like small parts, and I auditioned for Otto after the director was like, "You should be the main character." I was like, "No, I want to be Otto because I can have a lot of fun with the character." And then so he was like, "Fine." Then he was gonna give me the dad. He was like, "We're gonna make you the dad." And then thankfully the theater teacher was like, "I thought Sebastian was like begging for a role." So then finally they did. He was like, "Fine, I'll give it to him." And I was like, "Yes."
I like it.
Because he was definitely like the most interesting part of it.
Right.
Might have been thanks to me.
Never know.
No. Because in the original script he did like almost nothing but stand there with a gun. So I was like, yeah, let's give him a battle axe and just be a little bit more crazy with it.
I remember that. People were talking about that afterwards and like, dang, my boy Sebastian tearing it up, man.
But like going back to like stuff that inspired me, if you don't mind me talking about this real quick.
Go for it. This is great. I am loving this.
No, obviously I had like different like I've been having ideas about doing this kind of stuff since I was like in 8th grade. But it was earlier last year, if I'm not mistaken. I was in ROTC, which you were in. And it wasn't for me, right? I was like, I don't really want to do this. This is not what I want to do. So I walked up to the major and I told him like, hey, I'm planning on quitting ROTC because it's not for me. And then he goes, you strike me as someone who likes to take the easy way out. And I was like, what did you just say to me? Like that was one of the moments that made me go like this. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something better than what they think I'm gonna do. And then following that was we were gonna do a school production of Chicago.
Yes. We were.
I'm so sorry about that, Devin.
It's always gonna be too soon.
I was miserable doing that.
Yeah.
Because as you were at the audition, I performed my heart out and was probably outside of you. Like I was not the best singer, but I was definitely up there, like above. Like
no, you were good. I didn't know you had singing capabilities.
I didn't know either.
Good. No, you were just back and forth. I was like, who's gonna win the fist fight of the vocal cords or something? Oh God.
Yeah. And then the directors gave it to him, even though I told him like I didn't even really want to. I only really wanted this role, and he did not do that well. Okay, like no disrespect to him, he did not do that well.
He was nervous on the vocal aspects.
Yeah, but like
the acting aspects, it was easy for him, but the vocal aspects were what were killing him at night, making him lose sleep.
Yeah, and then because he got the role, he started like getting a little bit more like egocentric, which he already had an ego.
Oh yeah.
He was like, he would go up to me. I'd do one of my voice, and he'd be like, "It's not really that good." And then he'd do like an impersonation of Heath Ledger Joker, and it was like, "You want to know how I got these scars?" I'm like, and then like he would talk about like how he's a good actor, and I'm like, you have one character on stage. It's not really, you know.
Right.
He's a good guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's mean
Yeah.
and angry. And then so I was bummed during Chicago because I was like, this is not what I want to do. I would try to like get fired from it. And then finally I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put my heart out. So I went on stage and I'm like, I'm gonna be the most bored judge in the history of stage plays. So like
Right.
if you remember, I would be like,
You were a perfect judge.
and then the director came up and says, you cannot be that bored because you're taking the attention off of the other actors. And I'm like, wouldn't you want your background to be just as submersive as the foreground instead of everyone just being there like,
Right. Everyone was kind of steel-faced and a little serious.
yeah.
And then you
So
were just vibing in the back. You were just bored the entire time. I loved it.
and it was like, if you remember, I came up to you and it was like, I'm gonna try to bring a book on stage and just read it during the final part.
That would be great. Just bring Spittle on the roof.
Yeah. So that's why he's on.
The script of the play. The script of
Yeah.
Chicago.
And I was just so miserable doing it that it kind of made me no longer want to do a stage play again.
Really?
I was so miserable that I'm just like, I don't want to do another one.
Right, yeah. The musical was long. That was my
Yeah.
first and my last musical, swear to God.
Yeah.
It was
That was my first high school musical
right.
because I was the King of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland a while ago.
Okay.
So that's a few of the things that inspired me because I kept on feeling like I was being overlooked.
Oh yeah.
I kept feeling unfulfilled in what I was doing because do you remember Picnic?
Yes.
I was after the show. The theater company was talking about like actors and how they weren't really doing that well, and then I was mentioned as being one of the only good ones. So then the two guys walked up to me and were like, "You kept forgetting your line. You weren't really that good." And I was like, "Are you serious right now? I was. Are you serious?" So I just got
away with it, right?
I got furious.
Right.
And that eventually just led me to being like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to do my own stuff. If they want to include me, I'll be in it. But I'm going to do my own stuff now. And so that's the story of Still Place Productions.
Yeah, so you wanted to create after that.
Yeah, because I've always been wanting to get into the directing role. I've always wanted to get into directing, but at the same time I wanted to act. The only reason why I'm doing all this so young is just because younger than you guys, is because it's just what I want to do. I don't like waiting for my life to begin. I want to take charge of it now. I've been waiting for so long, you know?
That is a great way to look at it, man.
In freshman year, like during theater, I would audition and I was the villain in one of the plays. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait and maybe I'll get it. But then this year, like they weren't paying attention to me. No matter what I did, they weren't paying attention to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna take my friend William and I'm gonna go over here.
Right. Yeah. You guys, William has film experience, having gone to school with him for so long, and
Yeah.
you guys can make anything you guys want to make. You've got the, writing prowess, and William has the technical and execution prowess, and you guys are make a dangerous team. And you get a one-man actor, and I could see you guys making like silent films and still making it amazing.
Yeah, no. William has a lot of projects right now that he wants to make, but he doesn't know how to do it. So I'm kind of like his. He'd be like, "Hey, what's a good thing?" And I'd be like, "Oh, this is," and he'd be like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say exactly what it is because like I know he
Yeah.
wants to make it. And so like him, Maddie, and a bunch of other people, they're like, well, him and Maddie are really the only ones right now. But I think I've told you a few times, where if you guys want to make something, I want my channel to not only be for the project and my stuff. I also want it to be for like William stuff, Maddie stuff, your stuff. You know, I just got kind of tired of being looked over, and I would like text William. I text William and I was like, hey, will you help me make this account? And he was like, sure. And I was like,
Right.
sweet. And then like, so I started talking to him more about like what I wanted to do, and he's like, you know what? Yeah, this works. Not my
It's
best
doable.
William impression, but you know why I can't do it.
Of course.
He was on the news network, and
Yeah.
these kids behind me were making fun of him, and I was tempted in the middle of chemistry class to turn around and punch a kid.
Right. No, yeah, it's disrespectful. Kids are getting worse as the years go on.
Yeah,
I met some
definitely.
diamonds in the rough like you
Back in
guys.
my day, we knew exactly how to be respectful to others.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. We were like really relaxed. There wasn't like fights started by us. We were just the kids watching.
Are you kidding me? Literally, like I didn't know you in 7th grade, and for
Yeah,
some like at the beginning of 7th grade, I told you about this at the beginning, but I might as well just retell it. You were like one of the nicest kids I knew from a distance. I was
right.
like, we met each other in PE 7th grade, and one of my earliest memories that I've already told you was that you were discussing the new Fairly Odd Parents character, Cleo. And you're like,
Right.
I really don't care if they put a new girl in there as long as they keep the animation style the same. Which, A, she sucked. B, they did not keep it the same, so really bad.
Yep. Double failure in
uh,
retrospect.
and then I believe I joined AV, and that's where I actually started talking to you.
I
But
remember
like, we didn't talk all that much. And then finally, like 9th grade for me, 10th grade for you, I joined ROTC, and you're like, hey, I know you. And then we just kind of just chilled after that.
yeah, we hit it off, and after you left the core, I made sure to like check on you as you know when I ran into you.
Yeah,
And
that's whenever like it's funny too because like, we had ROTC and like we would chill, but like we didn't chill as much as we did after I left.
yeah,
Like, after I left, you were like, "Hey, are you okay? I noticed that you haven't been to ROTC," and I was like, "Yeah, it wasn't for me." And then like we started talking about stuff that we wanted to do, and it was after that we decided like, "Yeah, this is what we want to do."
yeah. I figured out I was more of an artistic mind at about sophomore year, about the time you had left. So when I realized you had gotten into theater and you had this giant wealth of knowledge and theater prowess, I was like, oh yeah, I knew we'd get along immediately after that.
Yeah, it's kind of a running joke in my family because I am terrible at school. I'm smart, but I'm terrible at school.
Right, book smart's different. Book smart is
Yeah,
very different. Like academia smart is very different. Like traditional
yeah.
academia, I hate when people are just like, "Are you smart?" I go, "No, I'm not." Or
Not by
like,
your definition.
right, it's like in what way, like in what aspect, right?
Yeah, because I'm good in English,
Yeah,
and I'm good in French, but I don't care about the rest of my classes. So it's
that's
like,
fair,
yeah.
and that's fair.
As I was saying, the running joke in my family is that they call me. Sometimes they'll refer to me as SMDB, as the SEB movie database, because I know almost. You give me a movie, and I probably know something about it.
I love that. I love that.
Here's a fun fact: Steel Face Productions actually based off of in joke from my family. Where do you remember this meme that was called "Awkward Seal"?
Yeah.
So whenever I was like kind of uncomfortable, I used to make this face that went like this. Whenever I was really young, so they go like, so this guy went, "Oh, you're making that seal meme face. You're seal face." Every time I make it, I'd be like, He'd be like, seal face. And so then eventually I was like, what could be a good name for this company, Seal Face? I was considering just making it Vexing Flame Productions because that's my username on everything. I'm like, but I'm the only one that's Vexing Flame in the company.
Are we ready for our lightning round?
Sure, bring on the lightning questions.
All right. If you could be any kind of animal, what kind of animal would you be? Go.
Uh, Prob I have the mannerisms of a meerkat, but if I could be any animal, I definitely want to be probably a Komodo dragon. They're pretty interesting.
Komodo dragon. I love it. You had 5 seconds left on the clock. Very close. Very close.
If you want to help you out, I could ask you questions too.
Sure. Go for
Very
it, man.
cool.
Yeah, I gave Kelly a period to ask questions as well if she wanted to ask anything.
Cool. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to portray the character that I have for you inside my project?
I love it. The way you described it to me was anime Bernie Sanders, and I was like,
He's anime Bernie. He's full on, like, as we were playing it, I was like, this is anime Bernie Sanders. I love him so much.
yeah, you sent me the video, and I just listened to him for a minute, not to imitate his voice, but to think about like a politician's vibe, and I was just like, oh yeah,
yeah. If you ever get to play the game, he's one of those confidants that you could accidentally mess up and miss entirely.
Really?
So you have to definitely like pay attention for him. He's my favorite confidant in the game.
You kind of have to look for him.
Yeah. No, you don't have to look for him. He's in one of the main cutscenes, but he's a confidant. And if you don't spend time with him, like if he's not one of the first confidants you build it up with, you will miss your chance to finish his storyline.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, I like him a lot. I was super excited when you sent me a voice clip just to listen to, and I was like, oh yeah, anime Bernie Sanders. I feel like I was made for this, oddly enough.
Yeah, actually, last night, it was after you published your interview with Kelly. I was like, "Yo, you can do a Fluttershy voice," and she's like, "Yeah." Like, well, if you're having trouble with your voice, just lean into that. And she sent me this voice. I'm like, that was, and pardon my next language here, amazing.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Yeah, her impressions are chilling. I think about it sometimes, and we still play some Overwatch together, and I can't tell sometimes whether or not it's her talking or like an actual, in-game voice.
Yeah. Just where voice actors.
All right, favorite color?
Blue. Navy blue. Specifically navy blue, but I do dislike color blue.
Fair enough. Least favorite color?
I don't have one.
Don't have one.
There's not really a color that like emits a lot of rage because me and myself, I don't necessarily understand the purposes of or like how we have a favorite color or not, but at the same time, I'm like I don't understand this, but blue.
Right. You have something that appeals to you, but nothing like stands out to you and makes you violently angry in terms of colors, or like something like sad that you don't want to feel.
No, like because blue fits all of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, blue's a happy color. A sad color. Yeah. It could be a mad color if you tried very hard.
Yeah, if you get I remember kids I used to take care of. They would hold their breath when they don't get what they want.
Exactly.
And they'd turn blue and purple, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever see. And that's awful thing to say. I'm not ready to be a parent, but but yeah, no, I loved it.
Okay, this next one is a bit of a two-way question. It could be answered by you and then by me if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite anime character?
Oh, favorite anime character. There have been some really good ones recently from the new age of shonen that I like a lot, and that makes it super, super difficult. Because while I like Asta, I really enjoy here's something crazy. I disliked Midoriya when I first ran into him in the anime. And I'll explain. I will properly explain and cite my evidence. He was a little too emotional for me, and I'm a very emotional person. I feel almost bipolar 90% of the day. And Midoriya, he didn't have like any he didn't have any low lows. He had high highs, and his high highs were to the point of tears too. And I was like, why are you sobbing? I thought sobbing was saved for your low lows,
But you also got to remember, like, if you don't mind me defending him real quick.
Yeah, hit it, man. This is great. Yeah.
He cries a total of 16 times not a total of 16 times. I don't remember the exact number. Somebody, like, did a count. And, like, they explained, like, how, and I'm even going to be using that. I don't remember who the account was. I'll find it and send you a link later.
Yeah.
But if you remember, he had no quirk at the beginning. So he went from nothing to all of a sudden being All Might's protege.
Right.
And if you were in the same situation, you would probably, maybe not you specifically, but you'd probably be as emotional as he is because, like, you were told your entire life by not just your enemies, but your mom and all of that you weren't gonna amount to anything. He,
Right.
he he was just saved for nothing. And then all of a sudden, he meets his hero, and he becomes his protege.
Right.
So, like, it kind of makes sense that he's a little bit emotional. And in recent manga chapters and recent anime chapters, not going to go into spoilers,
That's
obviously.
fine. No worries, because I don't read the manga, and I
Yeah.
will kill myself if I get spoiled. All right.
Yeah. So he doesn't cry as much. He
Yeah.
he hasn't cried as much in the anime, and in the manga, he almost never cries anymore. So
Right.
it definitely makes sense to me
Well,
when he cries all the time. By the way, Ochako and Midoriya are endgame.
they should be. They should be.
They are
And
definitely
I had issues with My Hero because Bakugo was like the most one-dimensional
Oh my
anti-hero
god.
I'd ever
I
witnessed.
agree with you there. He's my least favorite anime character, but that's not what I asked you.
His voice acting, god tier. I love the voice
Clifford
acting
Chapin?
that's done for him. Yeah, he's a great voice actor, and I love the way he portrays the character because he's mixed, but he's angry. He's this mixed, angry character. But then when you think about the writing aspect, it's just like you're just jealous. Quit it and stop it.
He doesn't get any better in the manga either. I keep on hearing things like
Doesn't improve. Like
I keep on hearing things like everybody are like, "Oh, he has such good character development," and so I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll read the current. So like I read the manga, and I'm like, there's nothing there.
right.
Horikoshi is an amazing author and illustrator. There's nothing there for Bakugo. He's literally like, if you remember in the manga, in the anime, he goes like, you better learn how to control that power. Inside the manga, he's still like, you're not the thing. It's like,
Right.
you're so.
So he's just still like super angry and yelly and.
He's so. Oh, and also he's the worst character to play as in the video game.
Oh yeah, I still got to get the game. But
He's probably not as bad as Mineta. I'll give him that. He's not as bad as Mineta.
all right, good.
My favorite anime characters are definitely Mizo Choji and Great Gozu from Danganronpa. I don't want to get into the Danganronpa one because I've been trying to avoid Danganronpa.
That's fine. Yeah. No, yeah, I have a lot of good characters that I'm enjoying, and Baki came back. Baki is I enjoyed that from when I was a kid, and it was an older '90s anime. So watching that come back has been really nice, and people hate it because it's so it's unrealistic. Yeah.
I want realism from my anime. Let's look at this kid who gets powers from eating hair.
Right. Right. No, but I really enjoy My Hero. I can't pick one good character.
Holy
There's too
crap!
many great.
It's too good. It's just way too good.
I love the way Pasta is written.
Yeah. Okay,
Pasta's-
real quick, if you don't mind me asking,
Yeah, hit it, man.
it's a question that has been asked through the ages of anime, and I have my answer, but apparently it's controversial.
Okay.
Sub or dub? Or, if you're like me,
All
both.
right. Both. No, I enjoy hearing the original like voicing the way it was meant to be. I'm very pure in that aspect. Like, give me the original idea, the original people that the director envisioned doing these voices for these characters. Give me that. So I'll always watch the sub after I watch the dub because I don't read. I can't read while I watch television. Because if I'm looking,
So you are technically both.
yeah, I side with you on both. Because
Yeah, I just there's some animes that I'll watch in sub, and there's some animes I'll watch in dub.
That's fair.
And it's like I tell this to like sub watchers, and they're like, "You can't be like that. You have to watch sub." And I'm like, "Can't I just enjoy what I enjoy?"
Yeah, art
like-
is for all to consume. It doesn't. You don't have to enjoy one specific niche.
Like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was. I love the English dub. I love the English dub so much. If you didn't know, Rice, I don't remember his username, his YouTube username, but Mick Lauer is one of the voice actors inside JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's like Rice Pirate or Rice, I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah, he voices Abakia, and it's like I was watching the dub, I'm like, no, this is the warden from A Heist with Markiplier.
Yes, and that's amazing. So yeah, like, and I do agree with you. I am a both person. If I love the anime, like what is it when I first started watching Dragon Ball, I had to go back and watch it in sub after I finished all of it in dub.
Mhm.
And I was just like, yeah, I want to see Toriyama's actual vision
Well,
in
Toriyama didn't work on the show.
what, on Super or on the manga?
He worked on the manga, but he didn't work on the anime.
No, but he did recommend voice actors for it.
Mhm.
He had very specific guidelines for the people he wanted to hear voice his characters. And when we watch anime, it means a lot to us. So it's just like, oh yeah, I got to go back and listen to this director's decisions.
Do you want to know something that really got me into voice acting?
Yeah.
It was the English dub of the anime Ajin, Demi. That's like one of my favorite animes. The villain, Mr. Sato, one of the best anime villains I've ever seen, by the way. Doesn't get talked about enough. Whenever the show first started, he had a terrible voice. He was like, it was all the same voice actor throughout the entire series, but like he definitely didn't have the character. So it sounded something sort of like this. And then finally, he finally got it down. He was like, so we're gonna get Christopher Sabat was one of the main things that got me to voice acting because it's like you hear him as Vegeta and you're like, yeah. You hear him as Piccolo and you're like, yeah. You hear him as Yamcha and you're like, okay.
Piccolo was amazing. Piccolo's voice was he was like one of the most definitive characters of my childhood, really.
And then of course, God tier. He's literally the god as All Might.
Right. I'm so happy he gets to be Goku of another series.
Yeah. Freaking, I love. There's a blooper of him and Justin Briner during that scene where Deku's beating up, where it's the training, right? The first training course.
Yeah.
And in it, he goes like, "Kick his ass, young Midoriya." And Justin Briner as Deku, who's also really good, was like, "Oh, okay, if you say so, come here, Baku," and slams him on the floor. All right, so let's get to the showcase.
Yeah, give us your best, man. There's no guidelines. It's completely free form. Go absolutely ham, man. Your favorites.
My name is Keiji Mata, and I'm the strongest warrior in all of Japan.
I love it. You know what that reminded me of? Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball, in the Dragon Ball franchise.
Yeah, it was really based off of that. I didn't do that voice that well. It's actually from an old game. That's why I said Keiji Maida. It's not my own voice, but like I work with voices and sometimes tinker with them. I do have original voices that I do want to showcase too. I'm just showing you like one of my favorite voices to do as of right now.
No, that's fine. We want your favorites. Anything you love to do.
If you want my first ever voice that I ever did, here we go. This is Sean Connery going to do it. Sally shells she shells by the seashore. Ah! Nailed
I like it.
I'm really nervous. I won't lie.
Okay. No worries, man.
Sally shells she shells by the seashore. Ah! Nailed.
There you go.
Sleeping. No. No, Sean Connery. I'm a young adolescent male, but you have long hair.
I love it. I love the back and forth.
And then one of my favorite things is there's this song called it's a song by this, I don't remember the name of the band now that I think of it. But they have this song that goes like so I'll go yuck, yuck, shut the door, baby, don't say a word.
I love it.
Trying to think. I had like an arsenal of voices, but like I said at the beginning, I woke up a few minutes ago, so I'm kind of tired.
That's fine.
How about you just give me like a line and I'll build a voice around it. Like you give me a line and then I'll think about it and then I'll create a voice for it. If you don't mind.
Yeah, I just gotta think of some lines then.
Good Lord, baby, don't say a word.
You want like an original line, or do you want something from a
if
show?
If you want, it can be original. If you want, it can be from a show. Just anything works.
Our ability to come together has to be stronger than our ability to tear each other apart, man.
Our ability to come together has to be stronger than our ability to tear each other apart.
I love it. That voice is like a It's like a war veteran who's turned from like pro-war to pro what is it, like pro non-war.
I used to be anti-hippie, but now I'm full hippie.
Reminds me of Marcus Phoenix. Like he just gets out of the war, grows like a full hippie beard and an afro like Bob Ross, and then just decides to just fully commit to the anti-war establishment.
Yeah.
I'm living for it.
What does master require of the creep?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I had one last night that was like, somebody wants to be killed today.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
And what about any of your original voices?
I'm trying to remember which ones those are.
That's fine.
It's just that like, voices are very interesting. There's not an exact science to voice acting yet. I mean, people explain it, and they explain it really well. Don't get me wrong, but there's not an exact like way of going about it. For me, I start forming a voice in my head. I take that voice, mess with it a bit, and then I do it. You know?
Right.
But so it's definitely like, I don't know how other people do it, but like that's how I do it.
That's completely fair.
So you will have characters that just, and then you have people who try to go into the business via impersonating others, and some of them work, but some of them don't.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. I'd rather meet somebody that has an individual voice, and then if you do tell someone to matching in any industry is really cool. That's awesome. But then at the same time, you want somebody that's got an ace up their sleeve.
You're under arrest for child endangerments, detrimental actions to your health, and for wearing khakis.
I love it. I like that one.
So like you just like you mess around with it, you know?
Yeah.
Then you have people that are like, oh, voice acting isn't all that hard. And it's like, have you ever played a game and you get characters that are just like, we must go there?
No, yeah.
And it's
I would love voice acting, but I can't make voices out of thin air.
Yeah. That's kind of why I gave you the character that I gave you, because your voice is already very leader-like. So
right.
It definitely works for the character.
Yeah. I don't know. I took leadership courses, so that's probably why that is the way it is.
Yeah, here's my favorite story that I have of ROTC. So the big guy was coming down from headquarters, right? And they were all saying, like, if he sees you in uniform, he will stop you to ask you questions. And you make sure you know the answers. So, like, I get to school, I have on my hat, I have on my suit, and I'm like, okay, I'll just avoid him all I can. I walk, this door opens, out he walks.
I remember that.
No.
I remember that.
It gets way better, too. And he was looking the other way. Gavin was showing him around, all this stuff. They were looking, and I stood, and I froze, just like a statue. Because in my mind, for some reason, it went to, he's a T-Rex. And he didn't see me, so he was a T-Rex. That's the moral of the story. If someone can't see you, he's a T-Rex.
He's a T-Rex. Moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen.
That's my funniest story from Earth. I have this voice, which is from the project. It's kind of original. And
Do it. That's good. I like. You know what that reminds me of? The squirrel from Kronk's New Groove. Yeah.
It's just like
very reminiscent.
He's essentially going to be like one of our main characters. He's not a main character in the game. He's just one of the personas, but he's one of the main personas that's used in the project. So he's just like he's like a little child. So it's like. And literally no one understands him besides two characters, and it just makes me laugh. Just the idea makes me laugh because like I was playing the game, and like we had the idea to make him one of the main ones because during my first and second playthrough, I had this one jack-o'-lantern that I would keep with me the entire time. I'd get like stronger than all the rest of them, but I'd keep him with me. I'd be like, yo, this is my child. He's a pumpkin head.
Right.
So now for the project, he's just like,
I like it. Have you ever watched Jay and Silent Bob?
Huh?
You ever watch Jay and Silent Bob? Any of their movies?
I have. I love those movies.
Your character reminds me of a trio because you can never understand one of them, so the other one has to be the translator for the audience, pretty much. So
they don't translate him though. He just like he'll show up randomly and be like, oh, okay, and then he'll leave.
Yeah, and then you've got these two characters that understand him, and you don't even have to translate them. I think that's the beauty of it. If you know you have to translate him, he's just like, all right, for sure. And he could just punch someone in the face immediately after, and he's like, he told me to.
He told me to.
Right. So I love it.
If you want, I guess I could go over the voices I'm planning on doing, as long as they don't go into spoiler territory.
Yeah, as long as it's not spoilers, you're all set, man.
So, of course, there's the main character, Joker, who I voice, where it's pretty much just a standard voice, just, let me think of a line. You're under arrest for unlawful ugly. You're like, oh!
I love that. He's a relaxed student, right?
Yeah. I've kind of been, like, bouncing around with what voice to do for him, and it's been pretty interesting. And so, like, I think that's probably going to be, like, the final one, just like, you're under arrest for unlawful ugly. Am I right?
Am I right? God. Oh, God.
Yeah. And then there's a character, Kawakami, who I have been struggling with because I don't really. So it's kind of like, oh, Xanthus, may I please talk to you in the counselor's room? I guess. It's a female.
Ooh, that reminds me of Elmer, the pervy neighbor from Family Guy.
Quagmire.
No, not that one. The old guy.
Oh, Herbert the pervert.
Herbert. Yeah, that was it.
It works too because she's a maid.
Oh, yeah, there you go. See? Come here.
I'll tell you more about that joke later because there's a specific joke with her that we're doing that I'm quite proud. Then there's the teacher, Mr. Ushimaru, which is like hey, you! Pay attention! Go Kokeke!
I like it.
And then I voice all the shadow guards, which are all that. You're a. I can do it right. Howdy. You're under arrest for unlawful entry. Hey man, I don't tell you how to do your job. You don't tell me how to do mine. It's a system.
I like it.
All the shadows are voiced like that.
It's good. I like it. They're kind of like a big family, like a hive mind kind of deal.
There's one that isn't voiced by me, and it plays into the joke. You'll see.
Okay. I can't keep these too long because YouTube likes to cut them off after a certain point, after about an hour and a half.
So let's definitely wrap this up. So if you want, I could do the outro for you. Just tell me what I need to say.
Oh, like the outro?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Go out and be limitless today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, fears, and doubts, go ahead and bring them to my inbox.
That is all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to go out there and make this day your own. Be limitless in every possible way. And if you'd like to schedule an interview with this amazing man right here, make sure to drop it into his inbox, DM him on Instagram, or hey, if you want, I don't know, talk to him. Just find a way to talk to him. And make sure to, if you don't mind me shamelessly plugging my stuff.
Oh, of course, please. Hit it.
Check out Personified Monarchical, starring yours truly, William Harris, Maddie Photius, Kelly Ryder, Devin Love, I don't remember your last name.
That's fine.
And many more. This has been Vexen Flame, also known as Sub, creator of Steel Face Productions, and we'll see you in the next video. Later. How's that?
God tier. Love it, man.
All right.